Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another edition of This Is Recorded Podcast. Hope your day is great. Hope your day is well. I hope you living to your highest potential. I hope you're doing what you love to do. I hope you love being you. I hope you motivated. I need that energy. Come on now. You might have had a rough week. You might have had a great week. I'm here to tell y'all I had a great week, man. It's 3 months left in the year of 2022. What we doing? How we making plans? How we finishing strong? What are we doing? What are we doing? Are we coming on strong? Cause I know the recorded family, we coming on strong. That's what I call it, man. Cause we family, man. The recorded family, we coming on strong. We finishing the month strong. What are we doing, man? How do you want to finish? Me, man, this podcast has been going on, I think at the end of this month, I think the 28th of October. I started this podcast 2018, October 28th, 2018 is when the podcast started. And I've been off and on. I am here to tell y'all that as of today, I have done a podcast or uploaded something to YouTube for the podcast the whole entire year. Clap it up for me. Come on. Clap it up for yourself. Clap it up for me, man. Clap it up, man. I did it, and I wish that, the consistency and the discipline, and believe me, one day, I'll let you know a lot of things have gone wrong. A lot of things have hurt. Figuring out to do it alone, because the guest base is kind of weird. It can get wishy-washy. It can get up and down. You cannot have a direction. But I did it, man, and I hope that for you guys as well. I hope you guys can find something that you love enough to do it consistently for almost a year. And that's for me, man. I'm finishing the year out strong. I'm finishing the year out. This is recorded. Going into the new year excited. You got to, mentally for me, I noticed that I got to get excited. I got to look forward to something. I got to look forward to things to keep me going, to keep me motivated. You feel like you just moping through this life when you don't have anything to keep you motivated. And this podcast, doing it and having something to do and talking to the people and getting different feedback, that keeps me motivated. That keeps me going, man. What doesn't keep me motivated is that I knew it, And in The Alchemist, the book, it talks about paying attention to omens. Omens, I think, is something in your gut, something you feel, or little signs that you think, like, you ever walk by a conversation and it pertains to your life? What are the odds that you walk by these strangers, you don't know them at all, and they're talking about something that pertains exactly to your life? I know, have you ever had deja vu? Have you ever had different things like that? Omens is just paying attention to something that you know and feel you should be doing right away, or is the right thing to do. I think that's what an omen is. It's just like a gut feeling is an omen, man. And my gut feeling told me don't say nothing about my fantasy, and I lost. I lost last week, y'all. Yeah, man. Yeah, got beat down pretty bad. This dude had 2 players to put up like fantasy record numbers, and I'm gonna have to check out something about that, man. I'm gonna have to see what's going on there. I might have to talk to the league manager, because how you gonna have 2 people breaking records like that, man? And one thing in my life that I've always known, I'm not a trash talker. So anytime I talk a little bit of trash, it goes downhill for me. So I knew I shouldn't have came on here and told y'all, man, yeah, I'm 2-0 in my fantasy. And I said that in the previous podcast, if you paid attention. And I shouldn't have said nothing, man. So my fantasy, man, got messed up. But how's your list going, guys? How's your list, man? Since the last time we talked about that 30-day grind, that list, what we trying to do. 30 days makes a habit. I could tell you so far, so good for me. It's just, the positive talk. It's like a lot of things that happen in life where it's just like, yo, man, you want to say this. And I mean, that's honestly what makes the world go round, sadly, is that a lot of people, feed off of like a negative story about somebody cheating or somebody this or somebody that is going to go viral faster than a story of helping kids or, feeding the homeless, even saving somebody is going to go, saving somebody from a burning building is not going to get as much publicity as, you know, cheating on your wife and they have a video or they seen you out or something like that. That's not really gonna happen. So the negativity, man, we working on that. I got a good workout in. I've been eating pretty well. I had a cheat day yesterday, man. I went OD, man. My wife said I didn't go really crazy, man. Shout out to her. She's a big supporter, number one supporter, the queen of This Is Recorded podcast. She said, you know, I didn't go too hard, but let me tell you, let me give you the rundown. First of all, I work overnight, so I'll be up super late. So she wakes me up at like 12 to ask me something about her schedule for work. And then I was falling asleep already because I've been up early trying to do different things. And then I got really, really hungry. I wanted to eat something bad, y'all. I wanted to eat something sugary, mess. I wanted to DoorDash. I wanted to go crazy. But instead, I was like, nah, I'll wait. So I waited, got through it, man. It was like going through withdrawals. I wanted something so bad. But then I waited, man. So we got up, went to our favorite spot here in McDonough, 2 eggs. Was black owned, but now I don't know what's going on now. If they did sell, I hope you sold for a lot of money. But yeah, I went in there. We got some French toast and potatoes and eggs and cheese. So that was our eating out one of the times. Also, we what did we do? Sister, shout out to Shay. She went out and she got us something from Crumble Cookie. Just a basic chocolate chip cookie, just one. Nothing too big. And then we went to T.I.'s place, man. We went to T.I.'s place. We had a great time. T.I. and Tiny was there. It's called Trap City Cafe in Atlanta off Northside Drive. If you come to visit, or if you've been to the Trap Museum, it's right around the corner from it. You know, I think he's monopolizing that little area over there. He found something good, so he's starting to make it work. So shout out to T.I., man. You know, it just seemed really fun, you know, going there. And for any artist or anybody trying to do music and things like that, G Merrick. On Thursdays they have trap karaoke, but they also have like an open mic. So if you want to go out there and get yourself, I was just talking to my wife about that. I'm telling you, speak things into existence. I was saying that they don't really have open mic kind of things no more like they used to have. You know, they talked about back in the day, there was a lot of open mics and you got to go and you got to show your stuff. But you got to get out there and, man, Thursday, if you're doing music and you feel like you dope, and one thing to test it is going in front of people eating and stuff like that. If you can get their attention, it's going to be extremely hard. But if you can get their attention, it shows that you're doing something that gives you motivation. But most of all, you know somebody in the music industry. T.I. most likely might be there. He might pop in there. But you never know who's in that crowd. You know, we pay attention and we want validation like, oh, somebody with this followers, that followers, this, that. But it could be somebody around you that can really change your life and you don't know. So it's all about going out there. It's all about getting them reps in, man. And shout out to my brother G Merrick and my boy Aaron Dorsey, man. I've been seeing they've been getting their reps in. I've been seeing that. I've been seeing that they going out there, they doing shows. They going in front of different crowds. And one thing about artists that are not well known and big artists, stuff like that, it's going to be hard to break through and get somebody to feel your stuff. But when you do get them to feel it, when you do get them to vibe, they say, you know, in the Bible, if 2 or more are gathered, man, hey, if you get 2 people to vibe to it, I think you won. If I got 2 people to listen to this podcast, I feel like I won. So we out here winning, man. We out here getting our reps in. I'm thinking of new creative ways. You know what I'm saying? YouTube, check me out on YouTube. Comment, like, subscribe, man. I guess that's something you really need to do for your algorithms, man. I'm trying to get them numbers up, run them numbers up on This Is Recorded YouTube, or keep listening. I think I want to do clips, man. In the comments, tell me if that's a good idea. I want to bring some clips because sometimes some people don't want to watch a whole bunch of it, or I've seen that it breaks down and goes in certain pieces for the YouTube. That's why I would need to get the podcast done on Friday so I can start editing and stuff like that before I put it out. But get your reps in, man. Go out there, find different ways to get yourself out there. Man, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know, man. New Rory and Mal, former Joe Budden podcast host, They got their own podcast. They doing something cool, y'all, and I think this is my shot and this is my moment. And either way, it's a win-win situation for me because they have a podcast opener. Your boy will be a podcast opener. Let's speak that to existence right now. I will scare the shit out of myself by going in front of a stage, man. But I got a cool idea for an opening podcast for them. It's a guy on their squad called Eden. He has a great story. He's been in the podcast game and been a part of some really huge podcasts that were from scratch, that people didn't know these people. They weren't super well-known people. But he's been there, and now he works on New Rory and Mal exclusively, and he DJs. He does a lot of stuff, man. So when that time comes, pay attention. I'm going to need y'all to flood their Instagram page. I think that's what they do. Flood their comments or who needs to open for us in Atlanta. This is Recorded Podcast needs to open up for them in Atlanta. It's going to give me an opportunity to get out there. It's going to give me an opportunity to face my fears of talking in front of the crowd. And it's going to give me confidence. It's going to give me, but either way it goes, I'm going to be a part of a podcast community. The podcast community is a huge one, but still small because it ain't too many pockets. Like, oh, hey, we having a podcast event this Friday night. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. That's not a thing right now, so, hey, man, when the time comes, recorded family, I need y'all. I need y'all to help me get in where I fit in. I need y'all to help me get on New Rory and Mal Atlanta stop. I think it's November 13th. I took the day off. I'm trying to get it in. I'm taking this to the next level. This is Recorded Podcast. We coming to you with different views. We coming to you with great ideas. We coming to you with confidence. We coming to you motivating yourself. When we gonna do this thing, we gonna get this thing going. We gonna keep it great, and we just gonna believe in ourselves, man. Like in discipline. Discipline, like I've told y'all before, I've always been seeking it my whole life. I had these great ideas, and then I just abandoned them, because I feel like, it wasn't going, and I know you can relate. I know you can feel that, man. I know you can feel that in your gut, like, man, I was doing something, and it felt great. Anything that felt great, come on, let's get back to it. Let's get back to, feeling great and doing what's great, and let's keep ourselves on offense, As far as like working out, stuff like that, they say that you have to break down muscle to build it. That's why it hurt is so sore. And then when it gets to that level, you know what I'm saying? You just like big and you strong and you like, oh, it don't hurt no more. And I'm getting bigger and I'm trying to push harder. So let's break down that muscle as far as like our insecurities. Let's break down that muscle as far as like we're not confident in ourselves. Let's break down that muscle of like, oh, caring what people think. And let's build up the muscle of confidence and everything that comes with it. Let's build ourselves up. Ain't nobody in this world gonna build you up like yourself, man. You gotta build yourself up. You gotta run these steps, you know what I'm saying? You gotta get in the field. You gotta work yourself out, man. You gotta do everything possible. You gotta get it going. You gotta get yourself, together. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get yourself moving. And this is what I'm gonna call this one, man. We gonna get off the bench, man. We gonna get out the bleachers. You ever watch a sports game? We at a football field right now. You ever watch a sports game and you feel like they should have did this or I would have did that, or how you couldn't see this, how you couldn't do that, but we don't have that confidence to get in the game, man. It's time for us to get off the bench. It's time for us to do it. It's time for us to let them know our name. It's time for us to, we want to hear our name on the loudspeakers. We want to be the top podcast and, in people's hearts. And we want to make an impact. But there's no way to make an impact from here. You in the stands, man. Nobody knows you. You're a diamond in the rough, but you think of the different rappers and stuff. They went to all the rap shows, this and that. And they didn't, they was just like, oh, I remember seeing this. I remember seeing that. I remember seeing Jordan score. I remember seeing this, But until they got up and got it, they embarrassed themselves in the beginning. It's hard, like that Trap Thursdays at Trap City Cafe, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be hard. A lot of people, come on, man, you performing anything, comedy, anything, while people eating, they don't know you. They there to see T.I., man. They don't know you. You know what I'm saying? So why would they be interested? Make them interested. Come up with different ideas. Put your all into it. sometimes, even though I've been doing this every day for this whole year, sometimes it feel like, oh, I just got to do it. And that was my first transition into doing different podcasts by myself. It was like, oh, I just want to do it. But it's like, yo, man, you got to be enthusiastic about doing it. And you got to come up with great ideas. When one fell, you got to come up with another one, man. You got to make it happen, man. You got to get off the bench. Let them see what you do, man. You got moves. You know what I'm saying? And when you get out there and you don't do it like everybody else do it, you'll learn that it ain't as easy. But that's a beautiful thing. Learning is beautiful. We didn't know how to read. We didn't know how to write. But we learned how to do these things. It was beautiful. We made it happen. So it's time for us to get off the bench, man. It's time for us to make something happen. It's time for us to be great, man. You know, like, it's time for us to truly, truly believe in ourselves, man. It's that time, man. Ain't we tired of, like, I can't do this, I can't do that? Ain't we tired of, like, putting our trust and all in somebody else? Ain't we tired of caring what other people think? You know what I'm saying? Ain't we tired of not living to our full potential, working every day and being at a job that you don't like, and, you know, being depressed and being around negativity, because that negativity at work and different places, or that bad relationship, it's contagious, and it gets on you and it gets on people around you, and it's just not fun. It just doesn't feel right. So let's get it, man. Let's get it, man. And I understand, you know, because me and my wife was just talking about, we was talking about, what do you think is greater? The love of a child to a parent, their love for them and their yearning for them, or the yearning from a parent to a kid? And obviously, we know it's a child to a parent, because it's a lot of people, it's this thing called daddy issues. It's this thing called mommy issues. It's these things, but we've always heard of, you know, the LeBron James and the Iversons and the different people in the world. Well, I didn't really know my dad. I really know this. Or, you know, somebody that got a bunch of kids and they're not around. Or even some dudes would be like, hey, I'm not really around for my kids. Or you got some women like, I wanted to pursue my career, so I had to leave my kid, you know. So obviously, but as you get older, that wanting and that love for a parent, it never goes away. You always want that. You can act like you don't care. I don't care, man. Fuck them. I don't care, man. I'm living my life. But deep down inside, you really care. If your parent was to walk right past you, don't even acknowledge you, you're going to care. But there's some parents that feel like, I'm grown, I'm 50, I'm 60 something years old, I don't give a fuck. They cannot like me. You know, so it's easy to understand. But, you know, it's also, we have to grow this thing in ourselves, within ourselves. And I think, if you ask me, I've always said this and I've always stuck by this. The number one reason to me personally why the world is fucked up is because a lot of people had bad childhoods. A lot of people had kids when they shouldn't have had kids. They wasn't ready. They didn't know. They don't know if they don't like it. And I also think another thing that I've always thought about too, think about this. A wild way to come into this earth is through sex. One of the craziest, reckless, you can meet somebody today, not even know their name, and have a kid with them. That is a wild concept, guys. That is crazy when you think about it. That's how disposable having a kid can be at times. Because if I don't care about you, if I don't care about the kid, then I don't care. I'm all out for self. You know what I'm saying? But also, it's this thing called your inner child. A lot of people is trying to grow that inner child in themselves and trying to compensate for what they didn't have as a kid. You have to keep that inner child happy. You have to grow that inner child. You have to talk to that inner child. So what get back to my original point is that yearning for a parent is always greater, because it's like, man, I was just a kid. I was figuring out things. And a lot of things too, I feel as well, is that, you know, when you're in your 20s and stuff, you're trying to figure out life and different things. But when you get into your 30s, you really have to do the work and realize it is what it is with your parent. And you have to really put in the work, go to therapy, do whatever you got to do. You cannot blame them, because it starts to sound like an excuse. When you get in your 30s and older, it starts to sound like an excuse why you drink or why you do this, why you do that. No doubt, no lie, it had a big impact on your life and played a huge role, no doubt. I'm not saying that at all. But you cannot solely blame that on your parents. You have to start doing the work. You have to get better. You have to want it. You have to want to get better. If we being honest, a lot of people don't want to get better. They just want to stay blaming life on somebody else. What somebody else did, what somebody didn't do for them. Let me tell you something. You can't pay bills with that. Your mortgage company, electric company, car payment. You like to eat out. You can't eat out with my parents didn't treat me right. You can't pay your bills with that either. You can't go on them trips with that. So this is Recorded Family. Let's dig deep. Let's get better. Let's love. Let's, and I didn't want to get too deep, but this Recorded is we about healing, we about motivating, and we got to be real, man. If you have issues with your parents, try to work them out. Always try to get to a peaceful place. But you cannot roll with that your whole life. You have to build up you, that inner child. You speaking to you. Hey, little man. Hey, beautiful queen. Let's heal you. Let's get you right. I know what you've been through because I was you. I know what you've been through because I am you. Let me help you. I want to help you. I'm here to help you. I love you. You are everything to me. You are me. Let's grow together. Let's live this life we always wanted to live. And let's make that happy ending. Let's get that A+ life. Let's get that for ourselves. Let's really, really get that, man. We yearning for love. They got that, Charlie Wilson. My heart is yearning for your love, man. The inner child in you is yearning for your love. Let's get it. Let's make it happen. All right. We got too deep right there. Let's bring the energy back. Let's bring the energy back. And let me ask you, man. Let me ask you a question. Rush Hour 3 is all on Netflix right now, right? Rush Hour 3 is probably the greatest trilogy out. I also learned on this podcast, I get on here and start saying stuff and it starts sounding wild. But to you guys, what is the greatest trilogy of all time? I can't really think of too much. I know Friday has 3. Die Hard's had 3, but then they start doing other stuff. What's the greatest trilogy of all time? But I can tell you, man, Rush Hour is hilarious. I didn't really notice the last time it was on Netflix how great the first one was. But Rush Hour really is given a run, man. Rush Hour is given a run for the greatest, series of all time, man. It really is. It really is given a run. So that's to bring your spirits up. In the comments, give me your answers. Whatever it is, give me your answers. Let me know any way possible. Give me your answers, man. Before we get out here, man, I wanted to say, man, I notice like in this world, it's a lot of young people and it's a lot of adults too. And everybody is yearning for acceptance, Everybody is yearning for a good job. Everybody's yearning to get in the game to come off the bench. Everybody's yearning for that. So just understand that and know that, like, you have to search for that, but search for it in the right way. I think a lot of, women want it sometimes in a man. We get back to the daddy issues. I think men want it in women, but they also want it from their peers more, where it's like, dudes are really not cheat on their barber. Don't go to another barber, wait for hours. The dude don't come, do this, do that. But you'll treat a woman like trash. Dudes always want validation. Oh, my music was this, my music was that. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn for that validation for yourself. I'm telling you, I had to learn this, and I'm speaking to myself. The only thing that matters was me and what I thought and what I kept going. I'm so thankful to have a wife and have a partner, because I don't think nobody is in this world to be spent alone. That, had to understand the podcast thing. It was like I was going crazy. I was pressing. I was trying to do too much. But she allowed me that growth. She allowed me that space to grow and figure it out. And she really comes up with different ideas. She said Mike Will Made It has like a get-together things. Aaron, G-Merrick, myself, Mike Will Made It has like a get-together of different creatives, man. I think at his space every once a month. I got to check that out, man. And we have to get that acceptance. We have to get that, that yearning. We have to get that. I got young people I talk to, man. You could tell, like, hey, I don't know about a car. I don't know about this. I don't know about this girl. It's like you can see the kid in them that nobody talked to them. Nobody let them know these different things. So it's just like, yo, we have to help out the youth. We have to help out ourselves, man. But that yearning within ourselves, man, if you could get one person to believe in you, this recorded is here for you. But that yearning, man, it doesn't go away, man. And we just got to yearn for it. My point is this. We have to yearn for something in a positive way. We don't want to yearn for something just to fill that void, but we know it's not right. If you passed the test but you cheated, that's not good. If you become a nurse, a doctor, whatever, something great, if you just so happen to pass the test because you cheated, you don't want it that way. Because when you get in the real field, when I get in front of that crowd, if I didn't get these reps in, when I do certain things, when you do music, when you do art, when you do anything, it's not going to come out right. When you're in that relationship and you know you bullshitting yourself, you know it ain't right, but you want it and you do have a dude because it's trash to be single, it's not going to come out right. So let's yearn for it in the right way. Let's get it in the right way. Let's come off the bench in the right way, man. And I know you ready because I'm ready, man. We got to show these people what we got. We can't be scared. We got to make those, I don't even like calling them mistakes. We got to make those trial runs. We got to make those, errors in baseball. I love sport. We got to make those fumbles. We got to do everything because that's what teaches you to be great. Like I told you, Laker documentary on Hulu. Kobe, 2 air balls straight, man. 2 air balls. We got to do it. We got to become great. We got to take them shots because Kobe became Kobe after that. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace. Come on, man. Let's get off the bench, man. I'm ready to get off the bench. I was scared to play sports a lot. As a kid, I was fearful. I didn't even play football because back in the day, I grew up in the 90s where it was like people was getting knocked out. They played in my neighborhoods and different things with no pads, man. But sometimes you got to get out there. You got to get off the bench, man. I speak that into existence that you get off the bench, you get into the game, you feel great about your life, you know that you're doing something well. I feel that I speak that into existence honestly today, that you make them steps. Like I said, that snowball effect, that avalanche effect, get that thing rolling, man. Come off the bench, y'all. Come on, let's get in the game. It ain't too many black quarterbacks, but they coming in the game right now. They taking it over. They doing well, man. Sometimes, man, you got to do it on your own, man. I'm doing the podcast on my own. I'm making that happen on my own. Let's get it started, man. Let me get something. Blue 42. Blue 42. Hey, hey, hey. Step up. Oh, fumble. And this is recorded.